Welcome to the Deep Dive. We sift through the noise, find the key insights from important sources, and get you up to speed fast. Today we're digging into something pretty fascinating, China's massive push for AI infrastructure, specifically in the Xinjiang region, despite tough U.S. sanctions.
Yeah, we've got an investigative report here that lays out the sheer scale, the strategy behind it, and honestly, the huge geopolitical stakes. Our mission really is to unpack this, to pull back the layers on why this is happening now, in Xinjiang of all places, and what it signals about the bigger tech race. It's definitely surprising seeing Xinjiang, often discussed for entirely different reasons, suddenly becoming this AI hub.
It really is, and it's crucial to understand this isn't just about putting up buildings. This is the fundamental groundwork, the physical infrastructure needed to train and run these incredibly powerful AI models. We're talking billions of dollars flowing into this. Local governments there have greenlit, I think the number is 39 projects.
39. Wow.
Yeah, and the planning documents apparently mentioned intentions to use over 115,000 Nvidia H100 and H200 GPUs. Okay, wait. H100s and H200s? Those are the exact high-end chips the U.S. has banned for export to China, right? Since 2022.
Exactly. Those specific ones, the ones the U.S. explicitly restricted.
So this is where it gets really puzzling. This brings us straight into what we're calling the Nvidia chip conundrum. These chips, they're basically the gold standard for serious AI training. The U.S. ban was designed precisely to choke China's progress by cutting off access. So plans for 115,000 of them in Xinjiang. The big question is, do they actually have these chips? Or is this more aspirational planning?
That's the core question, isn't it? And it really makes you wonder about how effective these export controls truly are in practice. The source material suggests it's genuinely unclear right now if those chips are physically present in these quantities, or if these numbers are just, what's listed in the project blueprints. Getting that many through smuggling, mass smuggling, it seems, highly improbable.
Implausible, yeah.
Right. There's no real hard evidence that they've managed to acquire them on that scale already. And Nvidia itself says there's no proof of mass smuggling. Plus, even if some chips were smuggled.
That's just plug and play.
Not at all. Nvidia points out they'd be incredibly hard to use effectively without their proprietary technical support. You need the specific software, the drivers, the whole ecosystem, the expertise.
Okay. So it's like having a Formula One engine, but no mechanics or software to actually run it properly.
Pretty much. Without that support, you're not getting the performance needed for large-scale AI training. It really limits their utility.
Okay, so implausible maybe, but with so much at stake, you have to wonder, are they finding some way? Maybe smaller batches aggregated? Or is there another angle? And this really forces us to look at the wider picture, the whole U.S.-China tech rivalry. The U.S. strategy, often called small yard, high fence, the idea is to block only the most advanced chips, the ones with potential military applications. While letting, say, lower-tier chips like the H20 through, it's a calculated move to try and keep China maybe a generation behind on the absolute cutting edge.
And China's response, they're not standing still, obviously. They are pushing back hard. They've launched this absolutely enormous semiconductor investment fund. What is it, $48 billion?
$48 billion, that's serious money.
It's huge. And what's maybe even more striking is just the sheer speed and scale they're building out this AI infrastructure nationwide. It's an aggressive push for self-reliance.
Which leads to how they're actually managing, despite these restrictions. We're seeing some, frankly, surprising successes. You have companies like DeepSeek, for example. They're claiming they've trained large language models, the complex AI like ChatGPT using the legal, less powerful chips. Although you hear whispers that Washington suspects they might have gotten access to H100s somehow anyway.
Right. And DeepSeek is reportedly interested in partnering with these new Xinjiang data centers.
Interesting connection.
It is. And it raises that question again. How are they getting these results? Because despite lagging in the actual chip manufacturing precision, that incredibly fine detail needed for the top-tier chips, their AI models are becoming increasingly competitive. It's genuinely surprised a lot of observers globally. It suggests maybe they've found clever workarounds, different optimization techniques, or perhaps they're scaling differently.
Okay, let's zoom out even further. China's global strategy here, this AI push, it isn't just about playing catch-up, is it?
No, not at all. The ambition is clearly to lead.
Especially where?
Particularly in emerging markets, the global south. The goal seems to be making other nations reliant on Chinese AI technology, their products, their infrastructure.
So building a kind of technological sphere of influence, creating dependencies down the line.
Precisely. It's strategic on a global scale. And just to give a sense of that scale again, those planned Xinjiang projects, the 115,000 Nvidia-class chips. Compare that to major U.S. initiatives. Projects like Stargate or ones linked to OpenAI, they're reportedly aiming for maybe 400,000 chips.
Okay, so larger numbers in the U.S. projects.
Yes, but importantly, those U.S. projects are often targeting chips that are potentially a generation more advanced than the H100, H200s. And critically, remember, Xinjiang is just one part of China's nationwide data center boom. It indicates a massive countrywide investment.
So wrapping this together, what we're seeing in Xinjiang feels like a real flashpoint in this tech Cold War. For the U.S., keeping that edge in semiconductors is absolutely vital for national security, for AI leadership, and for China, getting access to these chips or finding ways around the restrictions is fundamental to hitting their own big goal, their 2030 target for AI leadership.
Absolutely. And these Xinjiang projects, they become this immediate real-world test case. Can U.S. export controls actually stop China from acquiring the most advanced AI hardware they need? It really boils down to that. It poses the question, who's going to win out in this technological arms race? It's not just about chips, it's about future power.
So it's fascinating how this remote region, Xinjiang, finds itself right at the center of this global tech struggle. A struggle driven by the race for AI dominance and getting those all-important advanced chips. It really shows how tightly geopolitics and technology are now woven together.
And it leaves you thinking, what would the world look like if one country really pulls ahead, achieves a decisive lead in AI infrastructure? How could that fundamentally reshape global power balances for everyone?
That's definitely something to ponder. Think about how these national tech strategies can have such far-reaching effects across the entire global landscape.